Hey gang, coming at you today out for my walk. I always got to get my walk in. It's like one of my favorite things to do because it's just a great way to just clear your head, think about whatever you got to do for the day. I try to get up early all the time and I love, getting the sun coming up. And there's some just incredible places out there to go out and just walk and spend some time with yourself. So super, super valuable. If you want to call it a morning routine, morning ritual, whatever. But it's something that I've plugged into my life, and I would recommend it if you don't have that in your life, and you suffer like this is a crazy time. If you're suffering with stress, if you're still working, and you feel like you're trapped in the house, right? These types of things can accumulate over time and build more and more stress, right? So I think it's just so important now, even more than ever, to get out, be with yourself, and just get some time to just relax and reflect and think about your day for the day. Think about your upcoming day, plan out what it is you want to do, and even think longer term than that. I'm always thinking about the future and the things that I want to do. So, anyways, I love going out. One of my favorite things to do is to go out and find different areas where, are pretty remote. I like that. And I've been able to find some pretty cool things. So I bet if you did some exploring around in your area, you're probably going to find some of the same things as well. But anyways, that's really not why I'm here, but thought I would just mention that. And it's like, for me, it's just been a game changer. And it was recommended to me by a mentor that I had who just, lived by it. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it. Because I was always the hard charging, like kind of athlete guy. Like, I'm not going to go walk. I'm going to frickin' run. Like, that was always kind of my mentality. Like, why would I walk when I can run? But it's different. It really is. And it took me a little bit to sort of, get that. But now just walking is it's incredible. So anyways, highly recommend it. Yeah. So the reason I'm really here is I want to talk about, I want to talk about what it takes to be successful more for the long duration, right? So one of the things that you have good intentions because you're here. Your intention is to be a healthy, happy, fit, good-looking dude, right? And who doesn't want that? We all want that, and it's why you're here. So what does it take to continue down this road literally forever and ever and ever? Because again, I mentioned in a lot of my videos, this is one of my sort of superpowers, right? Is I've been able to live this life for many, many, many years. I always, say that, like, I've seen my abdominals for like 16 years, probably going on 17 now. And even like my fittest friends are like, they're kind of blown away by that. But it's true. Like, it's something, that I've been able to do for the long term. And initially, it wasn't always that way because in the beginning, it was a struggle. It was hard for me to figure out what it would take to get myself healthy. So I hired a bunch of people, a bunch of coaches, health professionals, and it was a time in my life when I was going through cancer. So I decided to hire all these people, spend gobs of money, traveled around the country, meeting incredible people. And the internet wasn't even really that good, so it was hard to find people. But anyway, so I went on this journey, and it was really hard. And I did all the stuff like counting calories and looking at carbohydrates and proteins and fats and obsessing over vitamins and minerals. And like, it was just so complicated. Did it work? Yeah, it really did. Like, I got into this really good place. So anyways, my cancer's cured and I'm this really healthy person. And I'm kind of stressed out because I don't want to keep going down the same path of complexity. Like, I didn't want to have to count calories and do carbohydrates and I didn't want to obsess over that. And I spent, I think I was spending, it was hundreds of dollars. I was probably spending $500 a month on supplements. Like, it was crazy how much I was spending on supplements at that time. And thinking that I needed all that stuff. And, I knew that if I wanted to maintain this, I'm like, look, I can't keep doing this. I want to stay healthy. I want to stay fit. I want to stay in a good-looking body. That was always my intention. It was a really powerful thing, and a lot of it was based on fear. I was afraid of going back to the doctor and having the doctor say, look, the cancer's back, or anything. Like, I never wanted to step foot in a frickin' doctor's office again. That's how petrified I was. And to this day, there's still some of that. I was into telehealth medicine way before coronavirus because I don't want to go into a doctor's office. So I found a telehealth doctor that would just do everything virtually. And it was kind of cool because, and I don't recommend this for everybody, but the one that I found was someone who I'm a little bit of a control freak ever since I went through that whole thing. And I'm like, look, I want to tell the doctor what it is that I want. So like, for an example, he just sent me a message and said, look, it's time for you to get your blood work done. Send me any other labs that you want me to do and I'll prescribe them. Like, that's awesome. Like, I'm like, this is my guy, right? So he'll he'll prescribe basically whatever lab tests I want done. I mean, he's not gonna, it's not unethical by any means, but, I would go to the doctor years ago and I'd be like, look, can I get my my testosterone tested? Can I have my, my T3, T2, T1 tested? And I don't think those are the three, so don't quote me on those. But, there are specific things that I always wanted to get tested that I would have to fight with my doctors to actually have them put the order in, because they would be like, well, why do you need that? And I'm like, look, it's just another way for me to monitor my health. And I'm not as granular as I used to be. I used to be really obsessive about this stuff. I don't really remember everything anymore. But anyways, so, and then even like cholesterol testing, like a basic general cholesterol test is really not that informative. There are much better tests cholesterol-wise to dig into. And I'm just giving you examples here. I'm not a doctor by any means, but I'm just telling you kind of like what this journey's looked like for me. So, I found this, I've been into telehealth, I've been doing all this stuff because, part of it was fear. I didn't want to go back to the doctor anymore. And I had this ridiculous sense of responsibility for my own health. I never wanted to put it in anybody else's hands. The first time I went through my cancer, I did. I put it in somebody else's hands. And yeah, it helped me to some degree, but it came back. And then I'm like, look, this shit's real and I got to get real up here. And I've got to take full responsibility. So I was doing like the whole extreme responsibility thing back before Jocko even wrote his book. And if you don't know who Jocko is, he's an ex-Navy SEAL that wrote a book, and I can't remember the name of it because I'm really bad at remembering names, but it's something like Extreme Ownership or something like that. Anyways, great book, but he sort of made this whole thing popular. And as I'm reading this book, I'm like, hey, that's what I did. But the truth is that's what we all need to do in order to really, you have to take full responsibility for your situation, no matter what it is, whether it's good or bad. It's on you. At the end of the day, it's always going to be on you, right? It's that there is nothing I can't stand more than people pointing the finger at somebody else for whatever disaster that they're going through. Look, I understand bad things happen, and there are things like a car accident, for example. Like if you're just sitting at a stoplight and somebody comes up behind you and smashes you in the rear end, I get that you have this feeling that it's somebody else's fault that you're in this position. But even there, and I might be on the extreme end here, but even there, I'm like, why the fuck was I in that car, in that place at that time? It was my fault, man. And look, I tend to be a little bit on the extreme end here, so, anyways. But yeah, so I think it's really important that you do embrace this personal responsibility, especially when it comes to your health, your well-being, your long-term success on this journey. I think you have to really embrace that, and you have to really hold yourself accountable. Does that mean you shouldn't listen to other people? Does it mean that you shouldn't ask for help? Absolutely not. You need to do all of those things, but you need to be careful with who you choose, right? You're responsible for choosing the right person to guide you down the path, right? You have to be responsible for the actions you take once you get help, right? As a coach, I always say, look, I can guide you down the path, but I can't do the work for you. It's still your responsibility to show up, to do the work, and to accept the responsibility, right? If you're half-assing everything, is it gonna work? Probably not, or not as good as it should, right? You have to take that full responsibility. So I think I just totally went off on another tangent, right? That could have been a whole nother video. But, what does it take to stay focused? Because obviously I can't stay focused in this thing. But, the original thing that I wanted to talk about was when you find something that's working, when you find something that resonates with you, and you're here because this program resonated with you. I resonated with you. We had some sort of a connection on the phone that you said, yes, I want to be all in, right? So when you find that thing, and look, I've been seeing the results and they're amazing, right? And I've done everything that I can to keep this whole program as simple as possible. There are so many things, so many layers that I could add to this thing, and part of me is like holding myself back to not put more layers on, because even if I believe that maybe it would make the results go a little bit faster, maybe just a little bit faster, the extra stress of having extra things to think about and more work to do is unnecessary and may hold you back more than keep you moving forward, right? Simplicity is of the utmost importance, and I always have to kind of hold back. Could I add 50 more exercises to the routine? Yeah. Would it be good for you to do 50 more exercises? It would probably build your fitness a little bit faster. Do you need 50 more exercises to be a healthy, fit, guy that's going to be able to maintain themselves for the long term? No, I really don't believe that. I really don't. I don't, and I'm living proof, because there are times in my life where I don't do all of that extra stuff, and I'm still able to live a life of tremendous health, tremendous fitness. So look, we don't need a lot of that stuff. And when you find that thing, what does it take to when you're in this program, and if it's working for you, I want you to see success for the long term. And the thing that you really need to do is put blinders on. You need to start shutting all of the other crap out. Like, really, people ask me all the time, like, I'll get messages on Facebook like, hey, what do you think of this? And they'll send me a picture of like some supplement. And I'm like, I have no idea what that supplement is. Like, I have no, I'm like, straight up, I'm like, I have no idea. I wouldn't take it personally. I don't think you need it, but I don't know. I don't even want to have the conversation. I'm not even going to go and check it out on the web. I'm not even going to do that, because it's a distraction. I know what works, and it's simple. And as soon as I stopped, and as soon as I figured this out, and I stopped counting calories and all that other crap, and I just got to this, and I didn't really have it figured out perfectly. I couldn't articulate it, but I knew what I was doing, and it wasn't until later on that I articulated it, and here you are, the Athletic After 40 program, right? So look, keep things simple. Put the blinders on. Don't be distracted, because the distractions are what's going to lead you off the course, and it's going to get you going up and down again, right? I promise you, this is the easiest, most effective solution that you're going to put into your life right now, forever and ever and ever. And if I can find a way to make it even simpler, I'm going to do it. If that means taking stuff out, I'm going to do it. Like, I want this to be super, super simple. So there you have it. I know I went on a million different tangents, but once I get rolling, I just can't seem to stop. So look, I hope this finds you well. And look, if you need anything, if you have any questions, if you need any additional support, please reach out and let me know. I'm here to help any way that I can. And I hope you have an amazing, amazing day.